If I could go back in time, I wouldn't change who I loved, but I would change how I loved. Because the things no one told me back then ended up costing me more than I could ever imagine. You're watching Heart Decoded, the place where we break down love, human emotions, and the psychology behind deep connections. If you believe relationships should be understood, not just felt, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss insights that can actually change your love life. When I was younger, I thought love was just about finding the right person. You know, that one magical human who would understand me completely, love me unconditionally, and make everything feel easy. Movies, songs, even social media today, they sell us this idea that if it's meant to be, it'll be effortless. But no one told me that effortless love is a myth. Even the healthiest relationships need work. Not because they're broken, but because love is alive, and anything alive needs care. I remember my first serious relationship. I thought compromise meant always putting their needs above mine. I thought that made me selfless. But here's the thing no one told me. If you always shrink yourself to keep someone else comfortable, you'll eventually disappear in that relationship. And when you disappear, you lose not just them, but yourself. And Owen told me that setting boundaries isn't being selfish. It's actually one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for your partner. Because love without boundaries turns into resentment, and resentment silently kills attraction. Another thing I wish someone told me, that good communication isn't just about talking more. It's about listening without planning your response in your head. It's about creating space for your partner to be fully themselves, even when you don't agree with them. I used to think arguments meant we were incompatible. Now I know arguments are inevitable, but how you argue decides the future of your relationship. And here's a truth that hit me much later. Just because someone loves you doesn't mean they know how to love you the way you need. Some people grew up in homes where love was shown through acts of service. Others through words of affirmation. If your love languages don't match, you'll both feel unloved, even when you're both trying to. I learned this the hard way. I once dated someone who would fix my car, bring me coffee, do all these little things, and I appreciated it, but I craved verbal reassurance. I wanted to hear, "I'm proud of you. I'm here for you. I love you." They weren't wrong. I wasn't wronged. We just spoke different love languages. And no one told me that learning your partner's love language is just as important as learning your own. The other thing I wish I had known is that attraction isn't just about physical chemistry. Attraction is maintained through emotional safety. When you feel you can be vulnerable without fear of judgment, that's when intimacy deepens. And when intimacy deepens, passion naturally follows. Most people don't realize this until it's too late, until the passion fades, and they blame it on losing the spark. But the spark isn't lost. It's buried under unspoken words, unresolved hurts, and emotional distance. And let me say this, your partner is not your therapist. It's not their job to heal your childhood wounds. But the right partner will hold space for you while you heal. They'll be patient with your triggers, not weaponize them. And in return, you'll do the same for them. The truth is, relationships don't just reveal who your partner is, they reveal who you are. Your insecurities, your strengths, your patterns, all of it shows up. Oh, the better you know yourself, the better you can show up for someone else. I wish someone had told me this earlier. Love isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who inspires you to become more of who you already are. One of the most painful lessons I learned is that sometimes the person you love the most can also be the one who hurts you the deepest. And it's not always because they're bad. Sometimes it's because they're human, and humans are flawed. You're watching Heart Decoded, where we break down the truth about love, connection, and the psychology behind lasting relationships. If you want to build love that's not just romantic, but also real, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because what you'll learn here might save you years of heartache. I once thought love meant always choosing to stay, no matter what. that if you loved someone, you would fight for them endlessly. But no one told me that staying in the wrong relationship can actually be more damaging than leaving it. Because staying when you've lost respect, when trust is gone, or when you're constantly compromising your values doesn't make you loyal. It makes you lose yourself. One of my closest friends stayed with a partner who cheated on them 3 times. They kept saying, "But I love them," and love means forgiveness. Here's the thing. Forgiveness is beautiful, but repeated betrayal isn't a mistake, it's a choice. And choosing to stay with someone who continuously chooses to hurt you isn't love, it's self-abandonment. And Owen told me that chemistry can blind you to red flags. That butterflies in your stomach don't always mean you found the one. Sometimes it's your nervous system reacting to unpredictability. And if you grew up in chaos, your body might mistake anxiety for excitement. That's why some people keep chasing toxic patterns, because they feel familiar. I learned another hard truth. You can't fix someone with your loved, and no matter how much you give, no matter how much you sacrifice, you can't heal someone who isn't ready to heal themselves. You can hold their hand, but you can't walk their journey for them. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let go. And about letting go, no one told me that heartbreak doesn't just hurt emotionally, it hurts physically. Your chest feels heavy, your appetite disappears, your sleep is gone. Science says heartbreak activates the same brain pathways as physical pain. So if you've ever wondered why it's so hard to just move on, it's because your body literally thinks you've been injured. But here's the part no one prepared me for. Healing isn't just about time, that it's about the choices you make while time is passing. You can spend months obsessing over what went wrong, or you can start rebuilding yourself. And I wish someone had told me earlier that healing doesn't mean forgetting them. It means remembering yourself. Another thing I wish I knew, love isn't 50-50 every day. Some days you'll give 80 and get 20. Other days, the balance will reverse. The problem comes when it's always one-sided. That's not love. That's emotional labor without partnership. And while we're here, I wish someone told me that being single isn't a failure, that it's better to be alone than to be with someone who makes you feel lonely. Your value isn't measured by your relationship status. It's measured by the love you give, the respect you demand, and the peace you protect. One of the most heartbreaking realizations is this. Sometimes the timing is wrong, even if the love is right. And sometimes, no matter how much you both feel for each other, life just doesn't line up the way you hoped. You're watching Heart Decoded, where we decode the truths about love, connection, and human emotions so you can build healthier, deeper relationships. If you believe love should be intentional, not accidental, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss these life-changing insights. I once met someone who felt like home. Every conversation flowed, every silence was comfortable, every glance felt like we were reading each other's thoughts. But they were in a different place in life. I wanted stability. They wanted adventure. I was ready to commit. They were still figuring themselves out. And here's what I wish someone had told me. Love isn't always enough. You can love someone deeply and still not be able to build a life together. No one told me that compatibility is more than shared interests or physical attraction. It's shared values, shared goals, and shared visions for the future. Because you can be in love with someone who dreams of a life completely different from yours, and love alone can't bridge that gap. Another truth, relationships don't just end because of huge betrayals or explosive fights. Sometimes they fade away slowly, quietly, not because anyone did something wrong, but because you both stopped doing the little things that made you fall in love in the first place. A missed good morning, a conversation cut short, a hug that doesn't linger anymore. Those tiny absences add up. I wish someone told me how important it is to keep dating your partner, even after years together. We think once we're in a relationship, the effort should naturally slow down, but that's exactly when it should stay alive. else's highlight reel. What you see on social media is curated, filtered, and staged. Behind every perfect couple picture, there might be unspoken resentment, emotional distance, or unhealed wounds. Comparison will only make you feel like your love is less than it actually is. And one lesson I carry with me now: if someone truly wants to be with you, you won't have to constantly question their intentions. You won't have to decode mixed signals, beg for attention, or overthink every text. Love that's real feels safe. You know where you stand, and you don't feel like you're auditioning for a permanent role in their life. But safety doesn't mean boredom. Some people think if love feels calm, it's not passionate enough. The truth is, chaos isn't passion, it's instability. And peace isn't boring. It's the foundation where passion can actually